After everything that happened with Coyote Pass, I honestly just wanted to let it all go and move forward. But the big question was, what would Cody do next? Well, he said he wanted to apologize. He claimed he wanted to extend an olive branch. But knowing Cody, everyone wondered, what's the real motive this time? Meanwhile, Janelle has moved on and found someone new. His name is Ron. And let me tell you, she absolutely lights up around him. She met him at a speed dating event, and you can almost see the joy coming off her. She keeps saying, "This is my journey," and she hopes her family will accept it with grace. Now, hey besties, welcome back to my channel. Yesterday, I told you something pretty serious. Cody Brown has become a joke of a father. He doesn't check on his kids, and he doesn't reach out the way he claims. What I didn't mention was that Leon Brown, Cody's child with Mary, broke their social media silence specifically to call him out. And the reason? Leon was reacting to Cody's behavior during his very public interview on the Vile Files Special Forces reunion episode. I watched the whole reunion, and honestly, I was stunned. Cody didn't just participate, he took over the entire conversation. He talked nonstop, barely giving anyone else room to speak. And a huge portion of the interview focused on his broken relationships with his children. At one point, the co-host Natalie, who is also Nick's wife, confronted him. She challenged his claim that he had been reaching out to the kids. She shared her own experience and pressed him for clarity. Instead of giving a real answer, Cody twisted things around, which only made him look worse. But that wasn't all. There were so many strange, unbelievable comments that it became clear why his kids were angry. For example, Cody claimed the wives all made more money than him, so he didn't need to pay alimony. Not only is that untrue, but it also showed how quick he is to rewrite history. And then he casually mentioned that Janelle had a spiritual release, whatever that is supposed to mean. The whole interview was full of contradictions. Here are a few of the moments that stood out. Cody said he got a church divorce, even though the marriage wasn't legal. He claimed the wives earned more, so he didn't owe them anything financially. Then, when asked if his kids owed him anything, he suddenly said the conversation was too nuanced for this venue. Yet he kept talking anyway, adding explanation after explanation, completely ignoring his own claim that it wasn't the right place to discuss it. What bothered me most was the difference in how he treated Natalie versus Nick. When Natalie tried to ask a simple follow-up question, Cody shut her down, saying, "This isn't the right venue." But when Nick spoke, Cody was calm and cooperative. The contrast was impossible to ignore. And then there was the biggest issue of all. Cody tried to excuse everything by saying, "Most of my children were adults when the divorces happened." But even if that were true, it doesn't explain why he has no relationship with his minor daughter. He completely ignored the fact that he still has a young child living in Utah who wasn't grown when everything fell apart. This child was around 10 or 11 years old at the time. That is not an adult. That is a child who still needed a father. Yet somehow, Cody brushed off all of that as if it didn't matter. She was a child, plain and simple, not almost an adult, not getting close, but a young adolescent who needed her father. Cody ignores that part completely. And let's not forget Savannah. She also wasn't an adult when everything fell apart between Cody and Janelle. When Cody stopped talking to them, stopped showing up, and eventually separated from Janelle, Savannah was still in high school. She was nowhere near adulthood. She was still a kid. It's like Cody throws out this blanket excuse, "My kids were adults," hoping no one remembers the ones who were still minors. But trust me, the family remembers. Some of the older kids, especially Mykelti, are furious about how he treats Truly. They see it clearly. And honestly, it is horrible. Then there's this strange moment where Cody casually mentions that Janelle had a spiritual release. He throws it into the conversation like everyone already knew about it. Apparently, that's a thing now. But the interview didn't stop there. Cody was also asked about how reality TV affects families. He talked for a long time about how filming can create conflicts by stirring drama or pushing people into uncomfortable situations. He said the show hurt his relationships with his wives because producers wanted them to confront issues for the cameras. He even claimed he was forced to take accountability for things he didn't do. At one point, he admitted he isn't a grounded person, and because of that, he struggles to take responsibility. In his own words, he said something like, "I can see the things I'm accountable for, but then there are things people try to put on me that I don't own." He added that to survive reality TV, you have to be really grounded, and he's, well, not that person. He even joked about losing his head, flapping like a chicken. Then he shifted into talking about Robyn. He said he wants to retire her from reality TV so producers can't pit them against each other. He said it proudly, as if he gets to decide whether his 47-year-old wife works or not. He described their marriage as solid, adding that he talks about her constantly because she's his favorite person in the world. He even said that going through 3 divorces leaves you with some kind of mental illness. What struck me as odd was how he framed the whole thing. He blamed reality TV for the conflict, the criticism, and the pressure from fans and family members. And sure, I agree producers will always highlight drama. That's TV. But they can only use what you give them. If you don't put your personal issues out there, they have nothing to film. It's also clear Cody and Robyn's relationship isn't the picture-perfect story he tries to sell. Instead of admitting their problems, he acts like taking Robyn out of the spotlight will magically fix everything, as if she has no say in the matter. Then Cody drifted into talking about his mental health, or at least the mental health he thinks he has. He hasn't been diagnosed with anything, but he talked about taking multiple supplements for ADHD, supplements he convinced himself he needed. He even admitted lying to the producers so he could bring all his supplements on set. The whole thing felt like Cody trying to build a story about himself, one where he's Cody went on to say he takes caffeine, Nutrafol, whatever that even means, and vitamin D to treat his ADHD. The problem is, he hasn't been diagnosed with ADHD at all. He simply decided he has it and then decided what he should take for it. And honestly, I find that troubling. As someone who does have ADHD, I know how harmful misinformation can be. When someone with a large platform starts naming random supplements as if they're treatments, people listen. Someone out there might think, well, Cody said caffeine helps ADHD. Maybe that's what I should do. And that's dangerous. ADHD needs proper diagnosis and proper medical treatment. Caffeine isn't a long-term solution, and many supplements don't help at all. It also feels like Cody is using this self-diagnosed ADHD to justify his behavior, especially his verbal impulsivity. Yes, verbal impulsivity can be a symptom, but if you know it's a problem and you believe ADHD is the reason, the next step is simple. Go to a doctor, get evaluated, and get real treatment. Speaking from my own experience, when ADHD is properly treated, the impulsivity improves significantly. But I don't believe Cody actually wants treatment. Not really. That's just my opinion. And again, he doesn't get to decide whether Robyn retires from television. That's her decision, not his. During the interview, Cody was also pressed again about his broken relationships with his children. One moment stood out when Natalie gently shared her own story. She told him, as someone who grew up without a strong relationship with her father, that he should keep reaching out, keep showing he cares, even if the kids don't respond. Cody replied that he always tells his children he loves them. He said he calls, texts, and reaches out, regardless of whether they answer kindly or harshly. He talked about how he has 5 children near him who are very engaged, and he naturally ends up putting more energy into relationships that work. He explained that when one of the kids unloads something painful on him, he just sits with it, even if he feels he shouldn't have to apologize for what they're upset about. He framed it as a struggle, feeling torn between apologizing for things he believes aren't his fault and trying not to invalidate their feelings. He described the whole situation as painful and complicated. And this exact exchange is what Leon was responding to online. Natalie was simply saying, "Don't stop reaching out. Keep showing them you care." But when Cody claimed he reaches out consistently, Leon and even Audrey called him out publicly. They said that what he said on the podcast was verifiably untrue. The podcast clipped his answer and turned it into a short, making it even more visible. From Leon's perspective, if Cody is claiming to reach out to all his kids but isn't actually reaching out to them personally, of course they would feel angry. And they're not alone. Even Mykelti spoke about this on her own podcast. She said it's true Cody hasn't reached out to Leon, and that relationship is basically non-existent right now. Mykelti said Cody did reach out to her, but she told him she couldn't handle a relationship with him right now. She said she loves him, but she needs distance and doesn't have the emotional capacity to deal with him at the moment. Just last night on her Patreon, Mykelti added something important. Reaching out is only the beginning. A single call or message doesn't erase years of neglect, hurt, and emotional damage. You can't wipe away that kind of history with one "I'll do better." And that's the heart of the problem. Is misunderstood, unsupported, and unfairly judged. But the facts don't match what he's selling. For anything to heal between Cody and his older kids, it would take steady effort, a real, consistent relationship, and a willingness to change. But the truth is, he doesn't seem interested in changing, and without that, there's no way to repair the years of hurt he's caused. One thing that still breaks Mykelti's heart is what happened years ago when Truly became seriously ill. She nearly died from kidney failure. Cody left Mykelti and Aspen to manage that terrifying situation on their own. He wasn't there, and because of that, Truly was put in a very dangerous position. This is the pattern. Cody doesn't show up. He goes where things feel easy and avoids anything that requires work or accountability. In the interview, he even said, "I have 5 kids right here who love me. Why would I spend my time going toward kids who don't love me?" He repeated the word engage over and over, as if the only thing that matters is who gives him attention. On her Patreon, Mykelti talked about this exact mindset. She said her father believes the only way to have a relationship with him is for them to enter his world, doing whatever makes him comfortable. He never tries to enter theirs. He wants them to learn about him, but doesn't put effort into learning about them. She told him directly, "It's not about us engaging you. You need to step into our world and get to know us." Tony added something powerful. Robyn once told Cody, "If having a relationship with the kids is valuable to you, then go do it." And Tony pointed out that using the word value is the problem. Cody treats relationships like a business deal. If there's no value to him, he doesn't bother. He avoids any relationship that might require accountability or emotional effort. Tony even said there are several kids Cody doesn't enjoy being around. Kids he doesn't even try to know. Cody's excuse? They're conspiring against me. But they're not. They're just tired of being hurt. At another moment in the interview, Cody proudly claimed he has great relationships with 3 daughters. And that part was infuriating because he meant Ariella, Brianna, and Aurora, all the children living under his roof with Robyn. Ariella is a minor, but he also has another minor daughter living in Utah. The interviewers didn't know that. They assumed he was only talking about adult children. They had no idea there's a little girl, now 15, who was only 10 when the family split, and who has barely had a father her entire life. She was literally born on the show, and yet he has ignored her for years. Cody has openly favored Robyn's children, 2 adopted daughters and an adopted son, over the rest. And remember, those 3 weren't babies when he adopted them. Dayton was around 14, Aurora about 11, and Brianna maybe 9. He didn't just adopt them. He diverted almost all of his parenting energy to them, while his biological kids from his other marriages were pushed aside. Watching this all unfold is honestly shocking. Cody seems convinced that speaking publicly, doing interviews, talking endlessly, will fix his reputation. But every time he opens his mouth, he makes it worse. Much worse. Because the brutal truth is this: there's a minor child in Utah who doesn't see her dad simply because he doesn't want to make the effort. He says he has a great relationship with 3 daughters, completely ignoring the 4th one who still needs him. It's no wonder so many of his kids have cut ties. 13 of them, according to reports, want nothing to do with him. And of those 5 kids he claims love him, only 2 are biologically his. The rest are children he adopted, and in many ways, elevated above the others. It's heartbreaking, frustrating, and honestly unbelievable to watch. So what do you think about all this? Let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching, bestie. Bye.